Welcome back to part 2 of Let's Play A Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's get back to Freddy's resurrections and deaths. I believe we were on number 4. Number 4, he resurrects. His resurrection is actually one of my favorites. Where Kincaid, he now has a dog, and he ends up dreaming that he's in the junkyard where Freddy was buried. He searches around and finds Jason, the name of his dog. Jason pretty much lifts his leg and pisses on Freddy's grave. But get this, it's not just normal piss, it's fire piss. He pisses flame on Freddy's grave, and the ground cracks open and Freddy's resurrected, where he then proceeds to kill Kincaid. That's gotta be like the best way to be resurrected. A dog pisses flame on your grave. But anyway, he then his death in number 4 was actually pretty cool too. he goes up against Alice, the Dream Master now, who possesses the special dream abilities of all her friends who have died during the movie. She remembers a nursery rhyme, picks up a broken piece of mirror, and shows Freddy his reflection, where the souls that he's collected start to try to tear out of his body, and end up reaching up, grabbing his lower jaw, and tearing it downwards, which opens his mouth and lets all the souls he's collected out. Great. That was one of Freddy's better deaths. In the 5th movie, Freddy is literally reborn. Kristen, who survives the first movie, Alice. Alice, who just killed Freddy, ends up having a dream. The movie actually starts out with her and her boyfriend, having fun, and she then has a dream that she's pregnant, but she doesn't realize it until at some point she's not her. She's actually standing in front of the woman who is pregnant, giving birth, who then turns into Amanda Krueger, who gives birth to Freddy Krueger as the burn victim, but a baby version. That's a pretty cool way to be resurrected. Okay, fine. His death is much the same. He pretty much comes out of Kristen, because Kristen is actually really pregnant through the movie, and Freddy is inside of her trying to take control of the baby, and she kind of like concentrates and pushes her out like she's constipated or something, and then Kristen's son, the baby, which for some reason in the dream world is like 5 or 6 years old, who's been fed the souls of the people who died by Freddy in this movie, has these dark powers that Freddy has, and ends up expelling them into Freddy, and Freddy pretty much sheds like his adult body, and then he's stuck as this baby, this demonic baby, and then I can't remember if he's running away. Yeah, he tries running away, and Amanda Krueger, who was there, who told Jacob, the boy, to do what he had to do, he picks up Freddy and basically like absorbs him back into her stomach, where she's pregnant again. That in that sense, that obviously did not kill him, especially when she says to Kristen to quote unquote save it, just take your baby and go, which means she was struggling to keep Freddy inside of her. Now in 6, he didn't need a resurrection, but pretty much he sets out on a mission to find his daughter in that one. The last Elm Street child that had contact with Freddy is basically his messenger, who ends up going to where his daughter moved to, and somehow inadvertently convinces her to take him back to Springwood because Freddy can't leave Springwood. So once she's back in Springwood, she ends up having dreams with him, of course. But anyway, his death, he's locked in some kind of gate with his daughter, and his daughter beats the crap out of him. It's hilarious. In every movie, he's always getting the crap kicked out of him by some chick. It's always some chick just kicking the living crap out of him. So in the end, she impales him with his own claws. She first impales him with a crowbar, then eventually impales him with his claws, and then grabs a pipe bomb and jabs it into the hole in his chest where the crowbar was. Which is where he then explodes. This death was supposed to be his final death. Especially because the ones that gave him his power, there were like these demon sperm demons that granted him his immortality and his dream powers. When he exploded, they come out on screen and you could clearly see them. And the whole reason they were able to come out on screen in the first place was because that movie was supposed to be made in 3D. Was made in 3D, excuse me. So, and they even show it in the movie, the Catherine Kruger, Freddy Krueger's daughter, puts on these 3D glasses before she enters a dream to go and get Freddy and pull him out of the dream. Just like in the first movie. And then later, after she kills Freddy, they appear on her face and she takes them off. Which was supposed to note when you're supposed to put the glasses on and off. So, in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which was the last movie that I watched before Freddy vs. Jason, and then the re-rendition of the 2010 rendition of the original movie, apparently Freddy was just some old evil ancient spirit that was able to be captured by Wes Craven in his first movie. Nancy Thompson comes back, but playing her real life self. I think her name was Heather Langenkamp, and all the actors and actresses, well, not all of them, but Heather, Robert Shea has his own cameo, Wes Craven's in there, who else? Robert Shea. Oh, and of course Robert Englund. You have to have Robert Englund in a movie where you're gonna have the the actors play themselves. So Freddy once again did not need a resurrection. He just needed a reason to be in a movie. And in this one, basically he's trying to come to life in our real life world with Heather Langenkamp and Robert Englund instead of just, Nancy Thompson's world. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, his death was actually quite weird, to be honest. I'm sorry, no it wasn't. It was actually a perfect end, because pretty much what happens is that Nancy now has not Nancy, but Heather has a child and is freaking out for whatever reason throughout this movie. I suppose because he's getting nightmares with Freddy and he's being chased by Freddy. In any case, at the end of the movie, Nancy has to go into her dreams. Not Nancy, but Heather. I keep calling her Nancy because, you know why. She plays Nancy Thompson. But anyway, she ends up having to go into her dreams at the end of the movie to save her son, who's being used by Freddy in order to bring Heather into the dream world so he can kill her and escape into our real world. But instead, he dies in this Hansel and Gretel type way, where the boy leads Freddy halfway into like this oven where he's trapped in there until Heather comes and grabs a knife and stabs him in the leg, and the boy finds a secret escape route to come out, and then eventually Freddy's actually pushed inside the oven completely, and then at the end there, Heather and her son are thrown back out into the real world. So this is actually the last stage. It's inside the school, the high school, and this is the first time I've ever gotten this far in the game. This part of the high school I'm gonna call basement 1, because there's actually the first floor, this basement, and then there's another basement where the boiler room is at. The reason this is the first time I've gotten here is because as you can see, by the time you get here, you've gone through like 7 houses. 3 houses, junkyard, cemetery, Freddy's house, and now the school. So it's 7 different stages. Plus, aside from the junkyard, there actually is 2 different floors. There's the first floor and the basement. So pretty much, Freddy. Pretty much, by the time you get here, I mean, as you saw, I'm playing pretty quickly, and I fought Freddy like 3. This is the 3rd time, I think, if you count correctly, since part 1. So I fought Freddy 3 times, plus all of his incarnations. His hand, his head, his other hand, his other head. His ghost, the bat version of him, which I think you guys didn't see for the simple fact that my recorder glitched for some reason, but whatever. So you saw me fight those 6 plus Freddy 3 different times, and now we're here, and you see that there's all these freaking enemies. This is the hardest part of the game, because you gotta make your way all the way to the right, collecting all the bones, and then you gotta make your way back. Now, as you can see, I went all the way back. You're not supposed to go all the way back. As you can see, I'm jumping, trying to see if it's gonna take me back up. But no, I'm wrong. At this point, I'm thinking, let me go back and see if there's anything else. I remember if you were paying attention to the video, you would have seen that in the bottom there's a fire pit, and when I passed by it, the literal thoughts in my head were, and you can see it right there, it doesn't have fire anymore. My literal thoughts were, there's fire and a pit. I'm not going there. But anyway, this is the end of part 2. I'll see you guys in part 3.